We create WiCSME. Now we have all over the world, and we've partnered with other women organizations more so. I also spearhead the SF Bay Area chapter as well. Besides that, I am the founder of Women Hackers, which is a private social community of women hackers of all levels. And I have advisor and board member for several nonprofits, I would say undergrad and college. I do talks on bug bounty, safe harbor, diversity and inclusion, mental health for hackers. I do mentor plenty of women in InfoSec, or at least connect them to the right people to help them in technical abilities, so just for emotional sometimes needs. I'm also a founder of a nonprofit called Drop Labels, which works to reduce stigmas around labeling each other. And last but not least, I am the parent to Sherlock, which you see the puppy right over there in the corner. She's wearing a diaper. She was 3 months old at that time, and she has grown tremendously. And if you are lucky, you might see her. She's standing right next to me on top of a chair right now, and now trying to get my attention. This is usually how it goes down. All right, so this is the agenda today. We're going to cover the history of bug bounty just briefly, a little bit about what is bug bounty as well, some that do not know. Then we're going to go into kind of the legal landscape, because I think it's very important for all of us to know what we're getting involved with if we're going to start out with bug bounty. Then I'm going to cover a couple of the best tools and resources for you. And then a little bit, because we are a group of women, I think it's important to also establish there is a problem also for women that are in bug bounty, and to share a little bit of resources to help you through that process. And last but not least, I'm going to open up for Q&A. You can ask me anything you want, and I'm always down for answering any questions. I've even had people ask me what is my favorite type of cookie. So let's go for it. So what is bug bounty? So bug bounty is just a trade. It's a transaction of basically you discover a bug, and from that bug itself, you get paid for that session. Now, the other thing is, how does it work? So what happens is that when you sign up for a bug bounty platform, for example, like HackerOne or BugCrowd, you'll see there's a bunch of different programs that are listed. Now, from those programs, it will tell you what's in scope. So whatever is in scope, it's okay to do. If it's out of scope, please don't do it, because you will not get any credits at all. And it could be a huge problem for you because you could get kicked off. So don't do it. So how does it work? So you submit your vulnerability, and then it's always ranked on priority levels. How high is that priority of needing to be fixed? So the critical bug will get the higher payout. So that's basically what it is. You basically find a program, you submit your vulnerability that you have found, and then you get paid on it. And the higher the amount will be for those that have found the higher ability. Now, why do we need it? This could be a good question to basically talk about, which is, I think companies need it because we cannot keep relying on our own security team sometimes, because sometimes they don't give enough trainings, which is one of the number issues right there. By not having enough training, your pen testers are not aware of the possible issues that they might have and miss because they're not using certain tools. So this could be a situation. It's really important to have a diverse look of eyes. So crowdsourcing security is definitely one of those elements that almost every single company should be doing right now, because it's with diverse eyes that we're able to find everything possible under the hood. The other thing is on a why do we need it? Because some of us want to be testers, or maybe we're already pen testers. We want to up our skills if we are pen testers with the cutting edge tools and resources that we have, but also it's a great way to get into pen testing because you're having actual live experience. This is really important because when you do apply for those jobs, if you do list on your resume that you have found bugs for the following companies, it actually gives you value. Not just that, companies respect that, and they actually are like, oh my gosh, she actually comes with experience. And this is really important, especially for those that don't have that experience. It takes like anywhere from a year to 3 years to find a job in pen testing sometimes, or you could get one as a junior pen tester. So this is a way to start. But it's also a way, like an internship, you actually get. So you get paid for vulnerabilities. The better you get, the more you'll get paid out. So that's one way you had to think about. So how did it first start? This is a very interesting question. Anyone have any idea of what was the first year of finding the first bug? Any guesses?
No, no idea.
Oh, okay. You ready? Ready for this? October 10th, 1995. Believe it or not, it's been around for a while. So basically, Netscape, they launched the very first bug bounty program that we know of. And they did is like they offered cash rewards to those that were able to security bugs in their Netscape 2.0 beta. So that was pretty cool. I had one thing where they were like, we're going to trust the community to help us find vulnerabilities just in case if we don't find it, because we want to trust each other. It's a bilateral trust. And the good news is that it actually grew. So this slide was taken from Kitty Mazuris. She did a presentation at O'Reilly Security, but it was given to from BugCrowd. And so you could see in the far left, there's Netscape 1995, but you see that there's like this increasing people coming, and by people I mean organizations that also take on it as well, which is fantastic. And it started growing. And the one that I really want, oh no, I got slid out. That's weird. One sec. Okay, so 12, if you see there's bug as well. So the birth of bug bounty platforms started emerging because they saw that there was this need of having bug bounty programs, but what's happening was a lot of the companies started getting a flood of people just submitting vulnerabilities, and they needed more team members to help them on this process. So this was a situation for them because they needed someone to triage what was coming in and also to evaluate it. Most importantly, they also need something that had a vulnerability disclosure as well. So even if it's not paid, at least people can submit vulnerabilities. Because I don't know how many people here have had this situation where you actually want to report a vulnerability, but you can't find their email address anywhere. It can take hours, sometimes days, and you're already at that point where like, I feel weird about submitting this because I'm worried that I might get prosecuted maybe. So this is a situation that we have right now, still today. So having platforms like this, you have vulnerability disclosure programs as well, but you have bug bounty programs as well. So this is really good because in a sense that they also are trying to get more of a security to help them out. So that is basically the birth of bug bounty platforms. It was from all the way from Netscape and all the way to 2011, 2012. That's when they started forming because they realized there was this need for having a third party to help them out with the companies. Quick fact though, did you know that 4% of Forbes Global 2000 do not have a vulnerability disclosure policies? So this is an important stat. So this was in 2017, HackerOne shared this information. And it's actually really scary to know that because if the Global 2000 do not have these kind of vulnerability disclosure policies or anything at all, we're not setting ourselves up online as we're failing pretty much because we need to work together to keep each other safe. And so having a vulnerability disclosure policies are very important right now, which we're going to dive into in a bit. So the current landscape. Now, I just want to say that I'm not an attorney. I did think about going to law school at some point and then realized it's not for me. So who here has heard about Capital One? There was a recent breach that happened. But what happened was that someone disclosed it to Capital One about a little bit over a week before it got public. What happened was a guy was on basically GitHub and found a bunch of credentials in there, but also some had identity information as well. So you contacted Capital One saying this looks really bad. It has personal data. I think this belongs to you. And so Capital One then looked into it and then realized, oh my God, this person did disclose all this stuff. So you have these, you have your black hat hackers and then you have your white hat hackers. And this is something to think about because when we have this situation, constant battle between the two. the person found the credentials and the information and posted it on GitHub, there was one person who came across it and then did report it. The other one is Equifax. So Equifax is a very similar situation. What happened was that this person reported a possible vulnerability that could be a massive breach for them if they don't fix it. However, it was like 5 to 6 months until it actually breached because they didn't fix the vulnerability in the first place. So even though the security researcher did put it out there, in the end, they didn't do anything about it. This is another situation. And the one thing we should know is that we have breaches all the time, all over the world, and personal data gets leaked. The thing is what happens if no one reported the breach? Think about that. And this is why we need to have more security researchers out there looking for these vulnerabilities, but companies need to take on the fact that we also need to make it safer for them to tell us about the vulnerabilities that they have found. So the person down there in the right corner, Amit Alzari, she did a research at UC Berkeley about basically the need of having a safe harbor. Safe harbor is a bilateral trust between the company and the hacker or their security. I might use them either way. And what happens is that they submit the vulnerability that's in scope, and in return, the company will not prosecute them. So this is really important to have. Having policies that are very short, understandable, but also for the security researchers to understand it and also know that there won't be threatened. So she also found this statistic, which is basically that 60% of security researchers do not report vulnerabilities. Basically do because of the fear of being prosecuted, which is a huge issue. But not just that, but also the fact that it could take time, and as I said earlier, it could take days to find a info for submitting a vulnerability as well. I think if you are interested in following more about Safe Harbor, she is literally the leader in Safe Harbor. You can follow her on Twitter. Her handle is Amit Alzari. She's really fantastic. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be where we are today with Safe Harbor. So, like I said, why are they scared? And it really has a lot to do with prosecution. So over here, DJI, they're also known for the drones, basically decided to start a brand new bug bounty program. But they didn't know how it would work when it comes to communicating with the researchers, to the point where how would it work and when it comes to payouts, but also did they have the staff that was dedicated to part of that program and organizing and managing it. So what happened was that they listed what was in scope. And if you see here to the left, Kevin wanted to double check on the scope before he went forward because he wanted to make sure. He wanted to protect himself and everything, which is understandable. So he sent them an email basically saying, I just want to check if this following thing's in scope. It took 2 weeks for them to respond. So then from there, they did say that it was in scope. So he then submitted his vulnerability. The payout was $30K, but came at a price. They sent over a contract for him to sign, and this contract, you should know, is that it didn't have anything that would protect him from being prosecuted. And the issue, because a lot of times when you are doing bug bounty and whatnot, get your award, you also sign a contract sometimes, but it does say that you're prosecuted at all. And so he decided, he's like, well, I don't feel comfortable signing this. He walked away from $30,000. And DJI saw him as an immediate threat at that point because they're worried about the PR around it. So the next thing he knows is that he gets a letter. Basically, they were going to sue him. And this is the letter that you see on the right. I mean that he was actually out of scope and that he also violated some policies such as the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. If you hear me saying it later, it's also I go by CFAA. And this was an issue. So he's like, what? I actually emailed you earlier. Why are you suing me, kind of thing. And then what happened was like, okay, fine. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to post all our communications publicly. So if you see that blog post down there, it's actually a great read. He basically took screenshots of every single conversation he had with them, showing that they are completely liable, that what they're completely wrong. And of course, they walked away because it made them look really bad. There are reasons why people are scared of being prosecuted. If they do things that are in scope, it's very important to keep a paper trail. But the other thing is it shows you of a need to have a crowdsourced security platform. And it tends to go, if you don't have enough staff and you can't manage it on a timely manner and you can't have communication with each other, go with a platform, HackerOne, Synack, and Bugcrowd. And the reason for that, it keeps the hacker safe and it also keeps the company safe to avoid situations like that. But most importantly, I just want to reiterate that laws prevent good hacking the same way they prevent hacking. And we need good hacking. So what do we do next? So now we're going to dive a little bit further. But don't worry, it's not going to be complete like push through. But in every single country, you can find these three situations. Anti-hacking laws, the Computer Fraud Abuse Act, which was the one I just shared, which is basically you can't basically take over someone else's computer with their permission, right? And a lot of times hackers are, if they do go out of scope, they could be landed with this law. Is anti-circumvention laws. So this is usually like copyright law. So like you can't use our software, change things around, basically the right to repair in a sense. That reverse engineering can be crossing the line. Now, then you also have acceptable use policy. I don't know about you. I have an iPhone. And every time it's like, here are the terms and conditions. Anytime I update my phone or when I'm downloading an app and you have to scroll through that, most people don't read that. I'm going to be really honest. And I'm pretty sure you probably didn't read this either. And so what ends up happening is, I remember this one time I was like, I'm going to read this. I'm going to actually read the terms and conditions. And it was so long that I got to the point where it's like, I don't even understand what I'm reading. There's just too many loopholes here. There's just like too much verbiage here. And I can't imagine what it would be like if English was not my first language. So that's something to think about. So three parts play a huge situation for the bug bounty community in a sense. Because the thing is, a lot of people that do submit bugs, English is not their first language. So the policies of basically their program of vulnerability disclosure or bug bounty, it could be a huge problem for the hacker. So there's a lot of work right now going forward to trying to change that. And Amit El-Azhari actually partnered up with Casey Ellis, who's one of the founders of Bugcrowd and Dropbox as well, and was like, we need to fix this. What can we do? And that's when Disclose.io was born, in a sense. And I'll get into that in a second. But Disclose.io is a really good resource in a sense because it basically is a bilateral trust between a company and the hacker itself, that if you're within scope, then you're going to be okay, and for both parties. And that's why we're trying to push more for safe harbor these days. So, and the need for it is really important, but also take it from the other parts, which is that program managers are also scared. They're scared at night to open their doors and be like, please find all our vulnerabilities, because they're really scared at night too. And when we submit vulnerabilities, sometimes it causes insomnia because even if it's within scope, sometimes we're still scared anyway. I don't know about you, but I remember the first time I ever used Nmap and I literally could not sleep that night because I was like, what if I did something wrong? Maybe they're going to find out, like, get in trouble. So it's really important to actually know your rights, but also to know what tools you can use, which ones you don't, and really understand what is in scope and what is out scope. So always look for programs that are like completely open, where it's like everything is open in scope, which is fantastic. But here it's just really important to reiterate the need of having a vulnerability disclosure program, but also for security researchers, because it's not just shown in our research. but also companies are also pushing for it more than ever before to do some sort of bilateral trust to open the doors a little bit more to keep hackers safe, while laws are still trying to catch up to be basically protective of the white hat hackers over the black hat. And also government's also very much pushing for harbor, which is very important as well. And I know this is kind of a scary subject, and so here's a bunch of pictures of puppies. As you probably know, I tend to practice diversity inclusion and give talks about it, so I put a cat in there. So if you are a cat lover, there's a cat. If you can find the cat, I feel like sometimes it could be like Where's Waldo situation, but it's a cat. So good news, though, overall, is that companies are starting to harbor, and they're improving their legal language as well. That's why disclose.io is very important right now, because it is showing the companies that are taking that step forward. So making sure that your terms and conditions aren't 50 pages long and verbiage that, if a fifth grader cannot understand what they're reading, they change their language. So now you have the background, you have the legal background. So now you kind of have a better idea of what is going on right now and the changes that are occurring. And you know now about what is bug bounty and a little bit further in depth of why it's important. So let's dive into how to get started. So the first step, tell everyone, is sign up for HackerOne or BugCrowd. Of course, you can also sign up for SINAC. There's some other like bug bounty companies that are starting to come through the market. Integrity is one of them as well, I know of. The next step is to download Burp Suite Community. It's completely free, and you need to learn it in and out, in a sense that by knowing that, that is going to be your number one tool. It is your everything. Yeah, if anyone were to ask any of the top hackers on HackerOne or BugCrowd, it will literally say Burp Suite is the only tool. In a sense, that's the most important one to learn. So download Burp Suite Community. It's very important. The next thing is to also study and read. If you're one of those people that likes to read books, the Hacker's Handbook, 2nd edition, is really good. The Web Hacking 101 by Peter Yorsky is another really good read, especially on bug front. And most importantly, there's already these great platforms that kind of teach you already. So Hacker 101 and BugCrowd University are great resources because it'll also teach you things about how to get started with Burp Suite too as well. Hacker 101 has a CTF, so that's really good to practice your skills at the same time learn. Because CTFs are the way of like constantly learning new ways, but also gamification in a sense. Now, remember when I said we're going to have to talk a little bit about the women's situation? So, as you're probably aware of, about 4% of women hackers in the world, according to Inside the Mind of a Hacker 2018, which was a report that BugCrowd came out with. But to be honest, I would say there is definitely less than 1% participate in bug bounty, which is kind of crazy. And why is that? The reason is that there are women that come out saying that they do bug bounty, and men will turn around usually publicly or behind closed doors saying like, I'm so impressed that a woman can do this, which is kind of ridiculous. Or they'll get like, hey, sexy, it's good to see that you're able to do these things. And also, so there's different types of harassment that does occur, and they can also be very aggressive too. So what ends up happening is that the women actually participate, but with fake male names to protect them. And this is like an ongoing thing, is that a lot of beginners or people that try to get into it that are women, they tend to keep them safe and protected. But it is changing. When I came in so I worked at BugCrowd for a year. And one of the things that I noticed was there wasn't really any women coming out saying that they are doing bug bounty as much. So there's a different kinds of Slack groups out there. And so I just kept creating like this one channel called Ladybug to try to get women to participate in it, but also to kind of realize who's a woman on this group, kind of know each other. That's one. But there have been some forming private groups online in the bug bounty communities now. And also not just that, but there's a lot of companies that are like pushing for getting more women in the bug bounty space because they see them as an asset. And the reason for that is that if you probably have read in the news, there's times where products are developed and women are not involved. And then the product doesn't do anything and people don't want it. And the reason for that is because they didn't take the woman element. For example, there was this recent one, which was interesting, was that you can camp a river. So it was like floating tent. And it's like you can stay in here all the time. But the thing they didn't take into consideration is like, that's great, but where does the woman go to the restroom? And that was the issue there. There's been plenty of times where products have been released that take in the female element. And so this is why it's really important for all companies to try to push more women to get involved with bug, because they're also probably going to find vulnerabilities they could not find possibly, because diverse set of eyes are going to find more diverse situations. So this is why it's important, and that's why more and more women are together and being like, I really want to learn bug bounty, or I just need to feel in a comfortable environment to get started in it. So because of that, so Women Hackers, it was kind of created in like end of May, and it's a private Slack community. And in there, there's workshops, there's guidance, there's support. It's a way of networking with each other, connecting with each other, sharing new things with each other, having CTFs, and also there's a job board, so people can always find jobs. And what I realized was that I was like, I wonder how many people want to get involved with bug bounty. So then I put out there, I was like, anyone want to join the bug bounty team? And I got an overwhelming response. And it was like over 40 women immediately were like, yes, please, I want to be part of it. I really want to do it. And it's for all levels. So no matter what your technical skills are right now, it doesn't matter. It's for all levels. And right now the goal is to get over 100 women. I also want to show that women are interested in bug bounty and need the resources for it. And so if you are interested, let me know. Just DM me saying you would like to join. You could do it via Twitter, or if you feel like it, you can also submit to Women Hackers. Basically just your name, last name, your email, your LinkedIn profile, and type in your message. And you can literally say, I did your webinar today, and I really want to be Women Hackers. It's completely free, and it's a great, I cannot tell you how wonderful the community it is. It's just a great way to like really connect with each other. Any questions?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Chloe. Thank you for your time. My name is Irene. I'm based in Abu Dhabi, UAE. Thank you very much for your wonderful thoughts and sharing this information with us. My question would be first, if you don't mind my asking, I would say I'm on Generation X. Okay. For the bug bounty, what are the range of age of women who do the hacking, the bug bounty? Yep.
So it's all ages. I have women from like in late teens to all the way. I think I have a couple women that are already in their 60s. So it's
Oh,
all
good.
ages. Yeah, and that's the most important thing, because I feel like women need to have all the opportunities regardless of their age. Different. So feel free to join. I would love to have you.
Yeah, I will take the another opportunity to ask a question regarding the one that you mentioned about this guy. What's his name? Kevin. Um,
Yeah.
why I walked from 3K. Actually, while it was on the screen, I tried to access the link that you gave. It just doesn't seem to be active anymore. We'd appreciate if you, yeah, we'd appreciate if you could provide us the
Yeah.
active Maybe they have put it down already, or it's not up there.
You can probably search probably that, but like shorten it to .com, and then it probably will be listed somewhere as on the blog, because it's a blog he has. Cut out the last part. He probably moved it or changed the URL.
I see.
That
And
works?
yeah, I'll try it. And how many women do you have now at Women Hackers? You said you wanted to reach about 100.
Yeah. So Women Hackers itself we're getting close to 400 women now in the group, like Women Hackers group. But the bug bounty team itself is over 50 women now. Definitely, I'm more than happy to like have more women join. Like I said, I want to prove that there are women that want to learn. And that was one of the things that I heard quite often, because when I was talking about bug bounty, like over the past year, people are like, well, why aren't women doing this? Why don't they care? Why don't they want to be part of this? And I'm just like, let's be real here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they want to. It's more of like, what kind of community is there that's going to support them, that isn't dominated by men, that pushes them out of it? So this is a way to go forward with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and are most of them, did most of them learn this bug bounty thing through your training, or did they start at a certain level of knowledge and expertise already and they just enhance it with you?
Okay. So so the train has not begun yet. It's going to start in a few weeks from now. So it's right now getting the group of women together. But what I'll probably do is do a general like verb suite workshop, which is usually about 2 to 3 hours, where basically all of us come together to learn the foundation of it. So there's going to be some things to do before we have our first like real on bug hacking situation. And also I'm right now in the works talking with some other companies that are willing to help us out when it comes to trainings as well. So it's going to start really beginning, so then everyone can catch on and be able to go forward with it.
Okay, and there are any prerequisites like we should have a certain level of knowledge in programming before we can join? No?
Believe it or not, some of the best hackers in the world don't know how to code. True story. Like it blew my mind. Like I was like, I'm gonna start telling this to women. I remember like thinking about like, oh, I kind of want to learn how to do these things. Everyone's just like, oh, you need to learn Python, learn this and this and that, and I'm just like, okay, so then when do I get to have fun breaking stuff? And so like, then Haddix, so Jason Haddix, he's actually one of my mentors. While we were both at BugCrowd, and so he was just like, you don't need to know how to code to be a good hacker. I don't really know how to code, and I'm a great hacker. And I'm like, oh, so that's what it is? Oh, I had no idea. And then suddenly like dive right in. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's one message from our chat line here from Dana. Well, she's asking, are you encouraging people who only read at third grader level to engage in pen testing?
Yeah, that's totally fine. Honestly, that's the most important thing, is that in order for us to come together and bring more people into the bug bounty field itself, like I said earlier, is that we need to also make sure that the language is simple. So no matter how good you are in English, you're able to understand and comprehend it. And that's the most important thing. So yes, you can also participate in the bug bounty team easily. So yeah, and worst case scenario, if you're having trouble with that, what I will do is in the group itself, to record the trainings. So in a sense, if you do miss one of the trainings, it'll be recorded so you can catch up on it. So that would give you an opportunity to like pause and like rewind if you need to like really understand what's happening in the shop. So I will do that for sure.
Yeah, that would be good because considering that we are in different time zones, we might not be able to catch your actual training, and the recording would really be helpful for us and for those who would be interested to participate in. And you also mentioned that there are still women who get harassed when they're participating in bug bounty, and they are pretending or using a name of a man or a male just to hide their gender. How is this proven, or how? I mean, any scenario, any specific examples, any evidences on this situation still happening?
I mean, the situation still happens, regardless. But I see a trend where women are actually starting to actually come out a little bit more that they do bug bounty, but some of them do keep it private. And there's also reasons for that. It could also be a culture thing. Like one of the women that I was talking to, she's like, if it ever got out anywhere online that I hack at all, I will be banned from like my family and all these other things. So sometimes culture does play a role in a sense where they don't want women to participate, which is crazy. That is how things are sometimes. So that's the other reasons is so then people don't ever find out online that this is a hacker. Because there's still like a lot of people do have like this really rough idea about who is a hacker, what does a hacker look like? Because usually if you do a Google search and you're like you type in hacker, the first thing that's going to show up is a guy in a black hoodie in front of his computer, kind of like crunched over, but not like photos of you and I. So that's another situation, is changing the stereotype in a sense.
Yeah.
Hi, Chloe and Erin. How are you?
Oh yeah, someone else.
I have a question if you don't mind. Okay, Chloe, I wanted to thank you first of all for this nice, interesting presentation. I've been a member of your Slack channel for women hackers for a while right now, so I want to thank you for all the great work that you're putting in. I'm so sorry for the noise, but I'm sitting in Starbucks, that's why there's a lot of noise around me. So excuse me for that. My question is, probably you saw the new post about 1 million hackers and HackerOne. So do you know any females who are like in that range or close to that we can like celebrate?
I kind of didn't hear that part. Could you repeat that? Sorry, it's a little bit tricky.
I'm sorry. My question is, did you see the 1 million hackers and the HackerOne? They were celebrating this one for a while right now. The 1 million hacker.
Ah, okay.
So do you know any females who are like near that bar or like near that edge?
That are women?
Bounties. Yeah.
In 1 million. No, but I do know
All of
women.
them were guys. Like when I saw the picture of them, all of them were guys.
They're all
So
guys.
I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah. One person I would say you might want to kind of follow. Her name is Jessie. She also goes as Random D. And she is incredible. Like she is probably one of the top performers I've been watching now for the past year. She's really good. I don't know if she's hit a mill yet, but I do know she does really well in bug bounty. And that other person is Alyssa, who I'm with to do the trainings with. She's also incredibly good. So yeah, so these two are good.
You can write their Twitter username in the message box if you don't mind.
Yeah, I will definitely do that once I get out of sharing. But yeah, I'll put down. Yeah, not a problem at all.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna keep sipping my tea for more.
Yeah. Ladies, anyone else who have a question to our dear Chloe? Oh, is that Sherlock?
No, I thought someone was gonna ask me that. That is not Sherlock.
It's not Sherlock. Or...
That's not Sherlock. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
yeah,
that's not Sherlock. It's...
Any other questions from our dear ladies, women in cybersecurity Middle East who are here at the WebEx right now? Hello. Okay. Chloe. I'm sure you. Yeah. Oh,
that's Sherlock, right? He looks like a fox. Very cute.
Yeah.
Cute. Very smart. Too smart sometimes, I would say.
Yeah. I guess maybe. I mean, you were told that this WebEx is being recorded, so that we can also share with other sisters in the community or not able to participate right now. Actually, today is a holiday. It's a New Year, Hijri New Year.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's one of the celebrations here in the Middle East, so I'm not sure if I said it right. That kind of a holiday. Yeah.
Oh.
So if there are no more questions from our dear sisters in the cybersecurity Middle East. Think we can share the recording afterwards. Is there any other final word from you, Chloe?
Only one. Let's see here. Do you see this puppy right here? There's
Oh,
Sherlock.
hey,
Cute.
Sherlock.
That's
I'm so
Sherlock
happy
right
to
there.
meet Sherlock. Like
Yeah, she's the
Sherlock
cutest.
Holmes. Huh? You're a
Yeah.
hacker and
Well,
you have.
but she will soon have a Watson, find a Watson for her. So she's like has a buddy. Yeah, she's still
Mhm.
a puppy, so she like nips. Like this is her. This is like love bites. But yeah, she's really good. The only shout out that I have is honestly, women hackers. You should join it. Reason for that is it's a great community of women all over the world, and it's one of those things that I would say it's one of my proudest projects that I've done, because I feel like we need this community more than ever, and also there's all these other workshops. So even if you don't want to get involved with bug bounty, there's all these other workshops. We did like a one-on-one car hacking one, which was fantastic, with Specters. He's a really, really great person. And we'll probably have some other workshops down the line as well.
Mhm.
So it's a great place. Also, if you're going to go to conferences and you want to know if other women are also attending the conference, it's a way to connect beforehand. So you have a buddy. It's very important to have a buddy system sometimes. So I'm pushing forward on that one. So feel free to not try, join Women Hackers, going on the website, or you can simply just DM me on Twitter, which is and I can also invite you from that way.
Okay.
And then the other shout out I have is Women in Security, WOSEC, as you are aware of. We're trying to have chapters all over the world. So if you are interested in building a chapter yourself, please feel free to reach out to me on Twitter. More than happy to help set you up. We do have chapters all over the world, and we just want to keep having as many as possible so women all over the world are connected. They have support that they need.
That would be great.
Really, really good.
Mhm.
And last but not least, there is a survey right now that's really important. If you have gone to any InfoSec conferences at all, please do this survey. It's very important. Conferences itself, the survey is basically sharing to see if you have had any harassment yourself, and also what has it been like, the environment for you. This is really important because a lot of women have been reporting assaults, harassment, and discrimination. And now, besides telling stories, we also need to show data. It's really important for all of us to do this survey, every
Oh,
single woman in InfoSec. And that survey, I did share it on Thursday, I believe. There should be a link there that you can do. It is called the conference survey. It was actually created by Jane Franklin, who wrote the only book right now about women in security. It's called Insecure. And it's a wonderful book, and I highly admire her. And so I'm trying to help her get people all over the world to do the survey.
oh yeah,
Those
I
are all my
think we have
shout-outs.
I think we have shared that survey with the group last month. We got that link already
Yeah,
last month. Yeah,
thank
and
you.
actually also
Yeah, I
in
have
terms of
recently shared that survey in the group. Yeah.
eh,
Excellent.
yeah, and by the way, actually one of the things that some of us have discussed is that if we can manage to send or have a number of attendees or delegation from women in cybersecurity during the RSA conference next year, that would also be good. Yep. So we'll maybe we'll get in touch with you if for some conferences in the
Yeah,
US that we'll be attending as a group. We'll be in
I would
touch.
love to. If you do, let me know. We will actually, believe it or not, I'm right now setting up an event with Tanya at RSA for February of next year. So I highly
Okay.
recommend it. If you do, let me know. We're setting up a huge event for women in security.
Okay, that's great. Any other questions from our sisters? Okay.
Oh, you're most welcome.
We are good.
All right. Wonderful.
Okay, so I think that's it. Thank you very much, Chloe, for sharing with
you.
us your wonderful time on your weekend. Yeah, thank you very much. So have a wonderful weekend and a good night from us here in the Middle East. I think it's morning
Good
for you.
night.
Yeah,
Sweet dreams.
yeah.
And yeah, I will catch you guys later. If really feel free to reach out anytime. Hands are always
Okay,
open. Okay.
okay, sure. We'll
Wonderful.
send
Thank
the
you
link
for
in
having me.
invite. Thank you. Good night.
Bye. Good
Bye.
night. Bye.